So hi everyone and welcome to this new race of Bugs Past Time Bestars. In tonight's race we will have Axodo against certaintrips. Axodo who was and who is back for since a few days the world record holder on this category. And certaintrips, its opponent, which is I think it's 4th or 5th maybe. So the race will begin in a few moments. And as said in the chat, the goal of this category, for those who don't know this game or this tournament, the goal in this category, excuse me, certaintrips is third, not fourth. The goal of this category is to beat the game after having collected the 12 boss tokens.
Mr. Buddy Rabbit, time to go. Your first objective is quite simple.
So the idea is this game is composed of 4 worlds, 4 eras, and in this category we have to go through the 4 eras to get the 4 token of all 4 eras, 3 token of all 4 eras, and then beat the final boss. We don't care about beating the boss of each era, we just focus on the final boss on the token. And the run is now live. So the first trick we will see is called the flying box clip. Certaintrips made it quite rare, right? So the goal is to to squeeze bags between the 2 boxes, and then one of the boxes levitate, and then we can clip through the ground thanks to that. So we use this clip in order to access directly to the second era of the game. We don't play with the first era first, we play it second. And we get first in the Viking era. So we can see that Axodo lost a bit of time by failing his clip the first time. While certaintrips has it done right. We can see the time glitch that just before happened in certaintrips screen. The idea is to go out of bounds, then to hit the bottom of the map. Then we will be we are automatically, if we are slow enough, we are teleported to the top of the map, and this way we can directly land wherever we want in the level where we are. So both our runners are collecting the first token, which is the world token. For each area, there are 3 tokens to collect. There is a token which is in the central area of the map. And there is a token that we can collect after beating a race, and we collect a token we collect after the level, which is more a platforming classical level, I would say. And now our runners are in the first level of the game, the first race of the game. It's a race against 2 Vikings on a shield, and we can see that our runners are jumping on this level. That's not a really hard level if you don't make big mistakes. Normally you beat the Vikings, and you just have to beat the Vikings in order to get the token. But in order to gain time, you can jump, and when you jump you get a little bit faster. That's why you can see both our runners jumping in this, during this race. The 2 runners are really close one from each other. Others are maybe 3 seconds apart, I think. But on the 4th race of the game, so there is 1 forward and 1 race per on, and the 4th race is there are no big time saves or time losses. That's just kind of I would say auto scrollers, but where you have to be a bit more active. And both of them collected the token without any problem, and they are not heading for the last token of the Viking era, which is the level token, and the level is called Moon Valley. In this level, we will see that in order to access the mini-boss of this level, our runner will have to active 3 light stone by jumping on them. There is one right there, you can see on the certaintrips camera. And we can see that both our runners are doing the OB technique, and Axodo just won a bit of time on this. And we can see the strip misses this OB, and this OB allows us to do to flip the stones in a particular order that is a bit quicker, because we can split both of our character in order to get them get the stone really quickly. certaintrips finally got the first stone, while Axodo is accessing for the second one. And he is done now. certaintrips is throwing bugs. It seems alright for him. Great. And Axodo is now accessing to the last of the stones. In order to access to this stone, you have to walk on an angle and then to do a dive jump, a long dive jump in order to access the stone. And now Axodo is on the mini boss of this game. This mini-boss is is really long, but quite interesting. In order to beat this mini-boss, you have to break the 6 shields of the Drakkar. And to do so, you use the bombs that send Viking on you. And between each bomb, the Viking try to jump on you. I don't know why certaintrips did the trick again. I think he got a problem and didn't access the third stone. So he's losing quite a pretty big amount of time right now. You can see that Axodo made half the boss. You just have 3 more bombs to send on the Drakkar. Throw on the Drakkar. And an interesting thing on this boss is that the same shield can only be used to deflect 3 bombs after it breaks. So we have if it's done perfectly, you will use 2 shields in order to finish this boss. And now Trips just solved the third stone on access to the boss. Now I think about 30 seconds. Axodo is 40 seconds side, I think, or maybe 1 minute. It's quite a bit amount of time lost by certaintrips right now. And Axodo is finishing the box right now. So you just have to collect the token, and he will be able to access to the second zone, which is the Aztec era. Normally, the Aztec era is the first era of the game, but as we can see, as we have seen before, our player have decided to go to talk to a few TT before in the Viking zone, and this TT gave us abilities that we want in order to do the other eras much faster. That's why we do the Viking era first. And in the Aztec era, the first token that we will get is the level token in the level named Baboon Realm. In Moon Valley, we had to flip 3 stones in order to access the mini-boss. Here we will have to active 3 sets of statues. In order to active a set of statues, we have to throw a coconut inside the mouth of statues. The first set of statues is composed of 1 statue, the second one of 2 statues, and the third one of 3 statues. Axodo just solved the first set out of 3, and now is going into water in order to do a new OB to access directly to the third set of statues, and he will do the second one in the third place in order to gain a little bit of time. It's more on the road. Oh, nice to see you here, Rasu. Axodo right now has done the OB in order to get the statue, while certaintrips is heading to the Aztec era. In order to access to the Aztec era, we just have to do a little OB done by jumping on the head of Taz after he throws bugs against a wall. And now Axodo is on the third set of statue, which is composed of 3 statues. We can see that we have a timer, and we have to solve the set of statue in a given amount of time after having thrown the first coconut. And but the timer is really long, so we don't really have to bother about that. We have enough time. And now Axodo is heading for the last set of statue after while certaintrips has finished the first set. And now Axodo has finished the statue puzzle, and now he accesses to the mini-boss of the level. And instead of beating the mini-boss the intended way, we just have to throw bugs through on the door, and he go inside the boss area, and then we can directly access the token. And we can see that here Axodo paused the game once he gets the token. It's allow him to skip the token retrieval cinematic we can see, and directly get back into the level. And now he's heading for the Aztec token, which we can grab after putting both Taz and bugs on the same button. A button that normally you access by solving a little riddle, but you can a little puzzle. But you can also get this token by simply doing an OB as Axodo did. While certaintrips is heading for the third statue, he's almost done with this level 2, and Axodo is now beginning the Sacred Ride, which is the Aztec ride, which is a race on a dragon. You just have to finish this race. You don't have anybody to beat or anything else. You just have to get at the end of the sequel. You can see that Axodo used a strange gliding animation for his dragon. This animation is done by pressing up, left, and right simultaneously in the same time, and it allows us to get the dragon working a bit faster. That's a minor gain of time, but that's still a gain of time. And certaintrips is now heading for the Aztec token, while Axodo is in the second phase of the race, which is a platforming phase. But we can see that we can skip this phase just by jumping into the lava and bouncing on it. The lava in this game is really kind. You don't die by touching the lava. You just lose one health point, and you bounce on it. Certaintrips is a bit struggling on the OB to access the Aztec token, and now there is an enemy that is here to bug him, so he will do the classic way to resolve to access to this token, which is digging a hole and then putting bugs under a pillar, raising this pillar, and accessing the token this way. And Axodo finished, collected the third token of the Aztec era, and now he's heading to the third era, which is the Arabian era. While certaintrips collected the TS token. Axodo now have a really comfortable advance on some certaintrips. This Arabian era is a bit different of the others, because in order to get the era token, we have to solve 4 enigma in 4 temples. More exactly, we have to rescue 4 geniuses. 1 genius for each element. Here we can see that Axodo is saving the fire Earth genius in the air temple, and now is heading for the water temple containing the fire genius. To access the genius, that's a little puzzle game or little platforming games. Nothing really hard. Yeah, Axodo right now I think is really a good pace. Its only mistake has been in the beginning of the game. Axodo just forgot to collect the genius, so he has to do the water temple once more. It's a loss of time, quite a great loss of time. I think he lost around 30 gold at least. So no, behead. That won't be a 30-minute, probably, sadly. So now Axodo collected the genie and is heading right now for the carpet chase, which is the race of the sun. While certaintrips is finishing the sacred rites. In the carpet chase, our runner have to beat another person in the carpet, a character in the carpet who stole a lamp from a lamp seller, I think. So we just have to, in order to beat this level, to finish the level before the thief, and then we will collect the token. During this time, certaintrips is heading for the Arabian era. During the carpet chase, there is nothing interesting. That's a pretty standard race. There is no trick to gain speed or anything else. You just have to have good trajectories, and there are no time loss or gain of time of any sort. And certaintrips is also in the air temple and collected the first genius. We have seen that before that Axodo did a cutscene skip in order to collect the first genius. The cutscene skip that doesn't do certaintrips. It did it the intended way. The time loss is about 5 seconds, I think, between the 2 strategies, the cutscene skip being the faster one. Axodo just finished the race and now is collecting the token, and he will be heading to the level of this game, which is Royal Gardens. And certaintrips just collected the second genie, the fire genie in the earth temple, in the water temple. So. In the level that Axodo is now in, the Royal Garden, the goal is to collect 3 pearls, and once the 3 pearls will be collected, they will land on the hands of the statues you can see right now. And this will make the token appear. In order to get the first token, the first pearl, you have to throw Bugs Bunny through 4 rings. That can be a bit capricious and hard to get, because if you hit the side of the ring, it doesn't validate it, so you have to throw quite precisely inside the ring, it can be really palatable if you can get it quite quickly. And this give us access to a rope that give us access to the first bar. Certaintrips is right now in the carpet chase, and we can see that he's strong a bit against its opponent. I don't know why. It's quite unusual. Usually this race is quite easy. And Axodo is now doing a warp again, an OB again, in order to get the second pearl. The second and third pearls are collected the same way by doing an OB and directly landing on the pearl. And certaintrips right now is finishing the race, and he will be heading to Roy Garden 2. Oh, Axodo is a bit low on this OB, but I guess it will be alright, and he will be about to collect the pearl anyway. Yeah, it's alright, he will collect it. And once you, as I said before, once you will have collected the third pearl, the token will appear in the near the lion statues. As we can see, Axodo managed to warp with Taz in order to get him near the exit of the level, so he don't have to do menuing before leaving the level. Now he is heading for the third temple, which is the first temple, containing the water genie, I guess. And in order to collect this genie, you have to do once more a warp and to land on this genie. During this time, certaintrips is finishing the ring problem, and he will be accessing the first pearl in a few seconds. And Axodo collected the third genie, and he's now heading for the fourth one, which is the fire temple. And once he will have collected this fourth genie, he will just the token will appear in a house just near the temple, and he will be able to collect the third token of this era, and to access the last era of this game. certaintrips is now heading for the second or third pearl, I don't know. He got it. Just have one more pearl to get. And Axodo collected the top token, and now is just talking to TT before leaving this era and heading for Transylvanian era. In order to get to Transylvanian era, as we can see, and we will see that Axodo is doing another hobby, which was until we discovered the flying box clip a few months or maybe 2 years ago, I think. That was the only way to do hobby in the Grand Range, in the central hub. So we used this hobby a lot. We can see right now that certaintrips collected the Royal Garden token, and Axodo is heading for the Transylvanian race, which is called the river. I don't find the name of the river, but this level it's basically an auto-scroller where there is literally nothing to do, and you just have to control the boat, and it's a really long race and really unpleasant because it's long and you have nothing to do on it. Especially for 100% runners, because you can see that for the 100% run, you have to collect all the gears you can see everywhere in the game. But some gears of this level are almost impossible to get. It's really hard to collect, so it's a nightmare for the 100% runners. This level is really a nightmare for them. And right now, certaintrips is heading for the Pearl Genius, and we just have to collect the Pearl Genius before leaving this area. And as you can see, there is really nothing interesting to say on this on the river Axodo's level. You just have to avoid crocodiles and siphons, and that's all. And access to the end of the level is really long. I think it's 2 minutes and a half level. And yeah, there is just nothing to do. certaintrips right now is collecting the Genie token, and he will be heading for the 100% runners are mad, and Prodo can answer it to you because he is a 100% runner. So right now, certaintrips is accessing also to the Transylvanian era, while Axodo finally finished this run and is collecting the token. Axodo now have only 2 tokens more to collect. The first one is the Transylvanian token, which is locked in a cage that we will see in a few minutes. And normally, to access this cage, you have to take control of 3 or 4 monsters somewhere in the level, and then ring a bell with thanks to these monsters. But you can just clip through the gate of this cage. But it's really a hard trick. I think it's the hardest trick of the game. But as the intended way to collect this token is really long, it takes several minutes. It's still, even if this trick is hard, it's still worth it to do it instead of doing the intended way. Axodo's had hit on the 3rd time. It's not that bad. I lost a fuse gun, but this trick is really hard. I think now that the trips has around maybe 2 minutes and a half, is 2 minutes and a half behind Axodo. And Axodo is now on the last level of this game, of the last token he has to collect, which is Zuvania. On this during this level, we have to press 4 buttons in order to access to the Zuvania Night, the night version of this level, the nocturnal version of this level, and we will collect the token in the nocturnal version of this level. In order to access the 4 buttons, you just have to solve 4 little puzzle games, which are locked in 4 different rooms. But for the 2 last buttons, we'll access them the same way by doing an LB warp 24, which is really faster. Axodo is now heading for the 3rd button. He's doing this level really nicely. He just missed once the LB, which is a really hard trick to get. This clip, I think, is the hardest clip of the whole run, with the gate clip that we have seen that we sent to collect. So to collect the previous token. And certaintrips just finished the reward token. I think that's quite the same. He's still around 2.5 minutes behind Axodo, right? Axodo is now accessing the 4th token, and we will have a little cutscene that will show us the level at night right now. Let's see if certaintrips get the door clip quite quickly. Nah, he didn't hit. He didn't have it first time. Maybe second time. Let's hope for him. Now that Axodo has switched to Zovania Knight, he just has to access the token, but certaintrips got the trick right. Well, but in order to access the token, normally you have to walk quite a long time and access the token that is really far away. But by using a bubblegum and getting through the level by abusing of the physics of the bubblegum, we can collect this this token a bit faster. I think it's 5 seconds faster than the intended way. It's quite a long level, but it's still a gain of time. So. And more important, this bubblegum strat allows us to do once more a cutscene skip by collecting the token at the same time that we hit the trigger to get out of the level. So at the end, this the bubblegum strat is quite efficient, and it's quite funny. I think it's quite a fun strat to watch, so we keep it. Now Axodo collected the last token, and he is heading for the last level of this game, for the final boss of this game, which is called Blood Count, I think, that we call Dracula in the community. In order to access to this boss, he has to get through a level which is composed of 3 doors, but instead of opening the doors in intended way, we use a little trick called Bearhead, by the name of its founder, Bearhead, which allows us to go directly through those doors, without opening them. And he will be in the last boss fight in a few seconds. But this boss fight is quite a pain. Because it can easily be because the start of this boss fight is random. In the first phase of this boss, the boss can spawn on the corner of the room, and you have to jump on him. And as we can see, it can take a long time before he jumps. And he spawn on one of the token one of the corner we can monitor. So now Axodo has finished the first phase, and he's heading for the last phase, which is just pushing 4 statues to the center of the room, and then the boss will be beaten and the game will be finished. I think his run will be finished in about 45 seconds. I think this is done good. Whilst certaintrips is in Zubania Night and will do the bottom trip in order to collect the token. One statue and Axodo finished the game. And it will be it's quite a good run for him. He's about 47 over HPB. It's quite a good time. 4204. Yeah, it's a good time for him. His PB is his PB isn't on and on the other board right now. But yeah, it's quite a good run it's quite a good run. During this time, certaintrips is heading for the last token, for Zubania token. He's also doing the bubble strat as Axodo did before. One thing that is quite hard to take in hand for the bubblegum strat is to be neither too high nor too low, because if you stay too low, you will won't be able to collect the token, and if you are too high, you will pop your bubblegum. And you will still have to compensate the air that you have in bubblegum. If you have too much air, the bubblegum pop, and if you have not enough air, the bubblegum pops too. But he managed it pretty well, and now he's heading for the boss fight too. And I think he will be doing the full beard strat too. Yeah. Struggling a bit on this first beard. This trick can be a little bit hard, because in order to do it, you have to jump on the door, and it can be quite hard if you don't get the good timing. That's why certaintrips struggled a bit, but he managed to get it pretty easily at the end. 2 more gates and he will just have the boss to fight. Right. He's now heading for the last gate, the last behind. Those gates really take a long time to open, so even if he struggles a bit in order to get the behead, it's still a good trick. It's still worth. And he finally got his spearhead, and now he's beginning the fighting in the that count. As I said, we won't have a first cycle. As I said, at each cycle you have one chance out of 2 to have drag on a good spot. And as Axodo had, I think Axodo had the 4th or 5th cycle, which are really bad luck. And certaintrips also got a really bad luck by having drag on the 5th cycle too, I think. Yeah. Drag being really mean tonight. And now he's heading for the 4th statue. In Axodo's run, we have seen that Axodo was using bugs Taz to jump on bugs. It's not the intended way. Certaintrips is doing the same tricks. It's quite a hard trick to get because it's really a precise timing in order to jump high enough to access to the window. But well done. It can save about 5 seconds, I think, in the whole boss. So the intended way is, as Certaintrips just did, you have to jump on Taz with bugs and then call Taz. One more statue and it will be over for Certaintrips too, and we will. And the game will be over. I think 37 minutes. It will be 36:54 for Certaintrips, which is, I think, not a really great time, but not that bad. And we'll ask him in the post-race interview if they want. Hey Axodo, how are you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me? How are you doing?
Well, I'd say it was another average run with some good stuff, some bad stuff, and I'm pretty happy overall. So yeah,
Great.
well, it's nice.
No big failure or big problem in the run, I suppose. I don't know if Trips. I don't know if Trips want to get with us for our post-race interview. Your race didn't have your run didn't have any big mistakes or anything looking like that. So yeah, I think
Well, I had one kind of big mistake. I tried to attempt cutscene skip in Water Temple and I failed, so I had to do the temple again. Besides that, no, it was nice. I wanted a 31, but Drake just said no.
Yeah, and 31 is still hard to get.
Yeah.
Only two runners get the 31, I think. So
yes,
if you don't have it each time, it's not a big deal. Certaintrips had struggled a bit more than you, I think. But there wasn't any big mistakes neither for him.
Yeah. How did his run go? It was
he had a few mistakes here and there, but yeah, he had a problem on I think on the Viking level on the Moon Valley, where he didn't
that level
flip.
can be pretty hard.
He didn't flip the last turn, so I think he killed bugs, so he had to do the OB once more.
Oh.
It was quite a shame.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So yeah, it's too bad we can't have him on commentary tonight. But post-race interview, I meant.
Yeah, but that's not. Runners don't have to do post.
Yeah, of course, but
as they want.
Nice race anyway.
Yeah. When will be the next race? I think it's on Sunday.
Yeah, let me check. Yeah, Sunday between the Blue Knight and Bearhead, and I'll be doing the commentary on this one. The Blue Knight is still undefeated in this tournament, so I'm pretty excited about this.
Yeah, and Bearhead is quite in a good pace in those days. He is having really good times, so it could be quite interesting to watch. And
Bearhead in the chat being confident, saying he will defeat the Blue Knight.
Yeah, I don't have any doubt about it.
We'll see.
Yeah, I don't have any doubt about it. And I think your next race will be against myself next week.
I think so.
And as you already know, you will lose.
Yeah, of course. I can't win against you. It's a friendship hour. I can win against other Frenchies. So, joke aside, I'm looking forward to it, and it's a nice tournament.
Yeah, this tournament until now we had really interesting race. The last 3 weeks, it is really a good tournament, and it's not over yet.
Yeah.
So if you want to continue to follow this tournament, you just have to join us on our Discord channel server, and you can follow both the runner and me, the commentator, Twitch if you like, on our Twitch channel. And thank you for watching this race, and see you for the next race.
Yep, see you. Thanks again, Ayash.
Thanks to you for this race.
See you.